Bennett came from a long line of soldiers and only soldiers. There were no airmen or women, sailors or Marines. The Army was his family's college, a ticket out of small-town Virginia that led to a life beyond parking lot parties and pumping gas. The tailor, crouched now at Bennett's instep with a tape measure, knew this because he had heard it from the Bennetts before. The tailor had no doubt that Bennett had learned to fire a gun before he could multiply. It had been the same with Bennett's father and great-uncle. They took it as a point of pride, bragging to him as he measured their inseams, pinned their cuffs in place. They had looked down on him as they told their stories, rolling their shoulders and finally shaking their heads as if they had been foolish to try and share such matters with him. Often they took a pedantic tone as they explained that they didn't intend their greatness, it was just inevitable. The irritating predictability of it all was part of the tradition, as far as the tailor was concerned. It had begun with the shop's original owner during the Vietnam War. The first Bennett had strode in and asked to have a suit made, his funeral suit, he said. The previous owner told the tailor that Bennett had said something about Buddhist monks taking a shovelful of dirt from their own graves each day, as well as a vague inaccuracy about Sioux warriors. That Bennett had seen a special on TV that explained these traditions, and it had inspired him to come into the shop to request the double-breasted shawl lapel jacket he'd always dreamed of. Whether in preparation or motivation, the original owner had not been sure. And so it had been with each war. A new suit, a new Bennett. Some of the suits were eventually worn at homecoming parties. Others were later cut straight down the back in preparation for the grave. Now the tailor and the latest Bennett found themselves here enacting the tedious drama all over again. But this boy was not a soldier. As he worked, the tailor learned that this Bennett wouldn't be off to boot camp soon, or shipping out to some dusty foreign outpost in 2 weeks. He told the tailor that he was already on the front lines of the rep war, hunting down naturalized illegals, as he called them. And by his own description, he should have been a sergeant. Upon hearing this, the tailor pushed a pin through the thin cloth and into the boy's skin. Bennett jumped and let out a tight little yell. The tailor smiled imperceptibly. The tailor was as hungry as anyone else in the neighborhood, and so would take the boy's money, but did not owe him any comfort or respect. He leaned over and turned on some music. Thankfully, he could now hardly hear Bennett's protests. Sudden yelling on the street, however, broke through his curtain of calm. But until a chunk of rock flew through the front window, the tailor ignored that too. The explosion of glass and noise shut the boy up. He hopped down from the small platform and hurried to the entrance. From where the tailor now stood, he saw a mob, comprised of men he was sure had families but apparently no sense, as it closed in on a lone man. And to his danger, these days so soon after the kidnappings, it was a black man. He ran down the street, sweat pouring down his brow, as his gaze searched frantically for some means of escape. "Yeah!" Bennett yelled as he hopped up on the window seat with his palms up near his chest, clearly intending to tackle the man as he passed. The tailor, who until now had stayed at the back of the shop, stepped forward. From the nearest drawer, he pulled the .38 his daughter had insisted he keep in the shop. The comforting weight of his heavy shears hit his thighs. He walked to the window and, just in time, pushed Bennett aside. The black man, wearing Glen plaid shorts, the tailor noticed, jumped over the threshold of the broken window and landed in the middle of the shop. The tailor pointed to the phone and waited for the mob to arrive. He had never shot anyone, and had not intended to start doing so today, but standing at the broken window where the wind could now caress his face, the tailor thought how quickly things could change. Behind him, the music softly played.